The Christmas period starts here with Derby County taking on Leicester City at Pride Park Stadium in the early kickoff on Saturday, and it is a huge game in my opinion for Derby County, who have lost 2 of their last 3 games after an impressive run of 5 back-to-back wins. Are they going to be able to get back to winning ways on home turf? That is a huge question for the Derby County fans. Leicester City obviously have some poor form of their own which needs to be discussed, and that's something which we're going to cover in this video. Now obviously this is the Derby Digest. If you have not done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. We cover everything Derby County, from transfers to previews to match day vlogs, so let's get into it. Now obviously for Derby it's massively important we discuss this game, and it's massively important we have a conversation about their recent form. Now if we look at the insights coming from FootMob, Derby County have 9 goals in their last 5 games, have conceded the most penalties this season with 4, and haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 6 games. Now in terms of Leicester City, they've scored 7 in their last 5 and haven't lost to Derby in their last 6 meetings. But something that will keep Derby County fans very occupied at the moment is that they haven't kept a clean sheet in 12 games. Now if we look at the recent form of the 2 sides, it's 3 wins for Derby, 2 defeats on there as well, with Leicester City facing back-to-back defeats, 2 wins and a draw themselves. Who's going to come out on top on this one? Now Derby County's last 2 defeats have come from winning positions, which is the most frustrating thing in planet Earth. When we go up to the game against Watford, Derby County were 2 up and ultimately faltered at the final hurdle. When it comes to the game versus Middlesbrough, Derby County were 1-0 up, and you could tell that something needed to change, but ultimately nothing changed. A header from a corner and a short corner which Morgan Whittaker put into the back of the net meant that Derby County collected absolutely nothing from their trip to the Riverside, and it was a dismal afternoon. Now if we look at Leicester City, it's 2 games with 3 goals conceded, with Southampton scoring 3 and then Sheffield United scoring 3. Leicester had the opportunity to pick something up in that game versus Sheffield United as they pulled 2 goals back, but ultimately it was too little too late and the job was done. Now obviously we've got to go and look at the players on the injury list for both sides. Now let's look at Derby County first. Carlton Morris, David Ozo, Lewis Travis, Max Johnston, Owen Beck and Ryan Brewster are all anticipated to miss out of this one. Obviously we have had news over the course of recent weeks that Max Johnston is back on the grass and Lewis Travis is a couple of weeks away, but when it comes to the likes of David Ozo and Ryan Brewster, we've not heard a great deal. Now it was confirmed by John Eustace that Carlton Morris would be out for 10 to 12 weeks on Saturday after the game at the Riverside, which would put him on a return towards the back end of February, which is a little bit disappointing as a Derby County fan myself. And in terms of Owen Beck, we know he has returned to Liverpool as a result of his most recent injury. Now let's take a look at Leicester's injury. Ramsey, Nelson, Akolai, Suter, Stolazark and Christensen are all anticipated to miss out on this one, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Leicester City do set up. Obviously with their most recent performances, they've not really been hitting the ground running, and that is a little bit disappointing for them, and it could see their manager under pressure, and we're going to see that in the league table. Derby County currently sit in 10th place on 26 points, and I say this with no uncertainty. I am absolutely livid about the fact we're sitting 10th, because we've dropped 6 points in the last 2 home games, and if we'd have picked up those points, we would currently be sitting 2nd in the division, 11 points behind Coventry. Now don't get me wrong, as I said during my watch along on Saturday, I don't think Derby County should get promoted this season. I don't think that should be the target. However, no one can turn down the Premier League money, and that's exactly something that we need to acknowledge. And I think that we really should right now be sat in those playoff positions at minimum with 29 points, but ultimately it has fallen on deaf ears, and we've absolutely bottled the last two games that we've taken the lead in. Obviously Watford and Middlesbrough, obviously we beat Swansea, but it's difficult, it's disappointing, and it's really hard to discuss for me because we should be in a better position. And if we had those 6 points on the board, we have 32 points after 18 games, which is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Now, I'm not saying that the start we've had hasn't been great. especially over the course of recent weeks, because it definitely has hit a new level. But the last couple of games have really disappointed me, especially those 2 defeats in games that we should have won. We should be sitting here discussing what would it have been, 8 wins in a row, and that's what makes it really difficult for me, because if we are discussing 8 wins in a row, we're having a completely different conversation now, and we're starting to go, right, well, it doesn't matter, we're comfy, we're happy, and unfortunately we're not having that conversation. Now, Leicester City sit just 2 points behind Derby County on 24 points from 18 games. As of time of recording, Birmingham, Watford, Ipswich, Blackburn all have a game in hand. Now, I'm not entirely sure when this Birmingham and Watford game is played. As of time of recording, it is the 30th of November, so we will wait and see. That could be a late game this afternoon, but we will wait and see. Obviously, when you've watched this, the game probably will have been played, but it's one of those situations where Derby County could drop another position, which will be interesting to see. Now, Leicester 24th in the division, not 24th in the division, 24 points out of 18 games, sorry, and find themselves 16th in the division. A win could put them in the playoffs on Saturday, but we'll have to wait and see how that one develops. It is going to be an interesting one. It certainly is. Now, we're going to look at the home form, because Derby County find themselves 16th in home form, 12 points from 9 games. They've not been great at home, and that's something which we've seen. Obviously, the Watford game, you go back to Coventry, the Bristol City draw, I think we drew to Charlton as well, if I remember rightly, and it's just a consistent battle for me. The draw with Southampton, a game in which we should have won. I still think we should have won that game. But obviously, we'll have to sort of wait and see how it goes. Obviously, in terms of Leicester, we're going to have to look at away form, because that's massively important for them. They sit 14th, 11 points from 9 games. That's going to be important for them heading into this one. Derby County on away form sit on 14 from 9, but it really should be 17 from 9. And I don't think I'm ever going to get over that. Now, over the course of the last 5 games, Derby sit 7th, 9 points from 5. Leicester sit 15th, 7 points from 5. And that is going to change heading into this weekend. But if we look at the XG table, Derby County massively overperforming their underlying data, which puts you in a position where you don't really know where we should be or shouldn't be. But we're definitely riding a wave as of right now, and hopefully that wave can continue until we're very comfortable, but we will wait and see. Leicester City, on the other hand, are underperforming in terms of league position, but overperforming in terms of points on the board, which is obviously a difficult situation to discuss. Now, we look at the head-to-heads. Obviously, these head-to-heads are very sort of skewed a little bit, because obviously Leicester have spent so much time in the Premier League and Derby County spent a couple of seasons in League One. But Leicester City, 10 wins from 12 games. Derby County just 1 win and 1 draw. And to find Derby County's last win versus Leicester, you're looking at 2013, and that was at Pride Park Stadium as well. And other than that, there's not another win on this board, as you can see. So it's going to be a very, very big game. It's going to be a tough game for Derby County. Some people would class this as a rivalry, but personally, I don't really care about Leicester. But we may have to chuck the rivalry in the title anyway. But you can obviously let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments if you have not done so already. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye, guys.